Hey, happy Wednesday, sports fans. It's the best day of the week, the best time of the day, 8 o'clock, because it's sports and drafts. He's Dave. I'm Chuck, and welcome to the show, Mr. Play It Through. How you doing?
Good, man. Ready to get the show going. We got another week. We got another
Yeah,
week of NFL.
we got a lot going on this week. Some good games, some bad games. I don't know, not bad games, but games that didn't go my way. Um, but yeah, hey, before we get into it, of course, um, it wouldn't be sports and drafts without the drafts or spirits. But this week, we both have beers, so I haven't poured mine yet. I think you did, so I'm gonna let you go first.
All right, man. I'm excited about this one because I splurged a little on myself on a 22 today. Just stood out to me. So this one is a Stone Brewing in California collaboration with Deschutes Brewery in Oregon.
Oh,
So we got a
I
little
like the shoots.
double state two stater collab, which I like. And it's one of my favorite flavors of anything. Let's be homies. Hazy IPA. I love honey, so this one came right out at me. It's a 7.5. They actually use orange blossom honey in the brewery method
Wow.
from California and blackberry honey from Oregon in equal parts. So yeah, it's really delicious. Like I said, great. That's a great label. That just shot right
Yeah.
out at me as a honey lover. That was an easy pick when I saw it in the store. Here's the color. So it's got a nice color to it, and it's delicious. I've taken a few sips already, and I would definitely buy this again. And when I say expensive, I mean I'm cheap. So it really, I think for this 22, it was like $6 or something like that, $6 or $7 for this 22.
Well, I think for the first time ever in the show, we've chosen the same brewer. No, I was trying to slowly. I actually picked a Stone Brewing. It was new to Bevmo. Let me get my hand out from under the mic thing here. But this is Stone's Woo Stout,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's. I haven't even tried it yet because yours was 7.5. This is 11.5 ABV. So,
Yeah.
um,
I've had that at the brewery. You're gonna like it.
I like the stouts, the darker beers. So I'm sorry, I'm pouring here, but yeah, I have not yet tried this because oh, that's oh, that's good. That's gonna
Yeah.
whiskey barrel in there, right? I can taste the
Yeah.
whiskey in that. But this is the Woo Stout from Stone Brewing, and this is actually a collaboration between Farks Drew Curtis, Nerd Royalty, Will Wheaton, and Stone Brewing co-founder Greg Koch, Cook, and but yeah, so it was as I shared on the show at fans. I had a pre-show beer, and it was a Scorpion Amber that I really like from a local brewery because the ABV is so high on this that there's no way I'm drinking two of these uh, tonight. So, and this was not, I splurged a little bit. This was like $18 for the 6-pack, and but you know what? This will be a sipping beer. I mean, it'll be gone by the end of the show. I'm not going to lie, but it's still going to be a sipping beer, and but yeah. So here's, I guess, out to Stone. I mean, our collaboration tonight was Stone Brewing. So
Yeah.
cheers. I don't know what everyone else is drinking at home tonight, but I hope you're enjoying it and having a good time. And Roberts tells us, hey, we picked a good choice. And
Man knows his beer.
yes. And but
Prost.
yeah, so thanks for joining the show, Robert. So let's jump into it. We got a little bit of pre-show stuff we wanted to catch up on, and so Salvador Perez, KC, he's here. He's quite happy here because after hitting a 2-run home run in the 5th inning in the first baseball game of a doubleheader against the Indians earlier this week, and the home run. I mean, I love this guy too. The home run broke Johnny Bench's record for the most home runs in a season by a primary catcher. It seems like I woke Siri up over here. on my screen. And she's listening. Let me close that out. But man, Johnny Bench, Cincinnati Reds. I remember as a kid, he was one of the top names. Raleigh Fingers, was a big guy for me, and I was a catcher in Little League, so Johnny Bench was the guy for me. That's who I was a fan of as a kid. So no, good stuff. And I mean, that's big. You shared this with me. You sent this to me today, and that's a big name and a big record to take down. And
yeah, I knew you liked Johnny Bench. I know you have a love for catchers, so I thought you would really like this. He also, if he hits one more home run he has 5 games left in the season, he'll tie the all-time record for home runs in a season by any player by a Kansas City Royal. If he can hit 2 in the next 5 games, he'll have the club record for home runs in the season from the catcher spot.
Here's to the catchers of the world.
Good luck, Salvador. I hope you get the record this
Absolutely.
week.
Hey, big news. This was our cover image for our show tonight. This will be my defensive player of some week moving forward, I hope, because after what the Rams did to the Bucs the other night, this guy is going to be a welcome addition to the defense, and could, if he plays to his ability, Richard Sherman will help them make a deep run in the playoffs and potentially back to another Super Bowl victory for Tampa Bay. So we'll kind of see if he can get back into form, quickly.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's still got in the tank. You haven't seen him for a while, so he's got all those veterans around him, and I think it's the kind of team where he'll really thrive with the players that are already on that team. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got left and what he can do.
And I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah, so those are my girls there. So, I mean, I'm not either one of their types since they're both married to ladies, but Sue Bird on the left there, since she played for Connecticut, has always been my sport athlete crush, point guard for the Yukon Huskies, and then point guard now for the Seattle Storm. So this was earlier in the week. The WNBA has that play-in game now, kind of like all the other sports leagues where, if you weren't the 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed, now you got a play-in game to see if you're going to actually make it to the round where there's a series of games. So it's a one and done, one game out. And, here we have, Diana Taurasi is there, plays for the Phoenix Mercury. Well, they played against each other in the play-in game. They're both, will be in the Hall of Fame eventually, Basketball Hall of Fame. Both two of the most popular, women's players of all time. And they ended up facing each other in that play-in game earlier this week, went to overtime, and the Phoenix Mercury ended up winning. So there's a lot of speculation now that, this may have been Sue Bird's last season. She's 40 years old. Wow. Will she come back for one more year for a farewell tour season? She has a great team around her. I was really surprised that they even had a record where they'd had to play a play-in game. So they do have a good team. I do hope she comes back for at least one farewell season so she can kind of get like what the NBA players get, and more fans come to the arena to support her when she comes to town, and home team, and she gets all the accolades and all the love every night from the home and the away teams. So, yeah, she's always been one of my favorite players, so that was cool to watch. Sue Bird, Jersey, Connecticut, or Storm is on my Christmas list from my wife this year because I think that highly of her. She's one of my favorite players to watch all time. So that was just a really cool moment. And they did the, exchanging of the jerseys as big-time players do after the game. So it was just a special moment. And, the whole crowd, they were in Seattle, so the whole crowd was chanting one more year after the game, and she was crying while she got interviewed, and she wasn't real sure what her decision was going to be for that.
That's awesome.
Level. She's still very she's not just like coming off the bench for a few minutes or anything. She's still a starter. She still contributes a great amount. So I don't think there's a worry that, she's going to come back and not be able to play. She's going to be able to play well if she does come back for another year.
It's awesome. Robert thinks that Salvador may have hit another one tonight, so
Oh,
we'll have to check in on that and
check in.
and see if that's if that actually happened. So again, thanks Robert for checking in. Jim, Cindy, thanks for watching as always. You're our biggest fans. Woo! Hey,
He hit one in the first inning.
there you go. So the game's
So-
still going on. Yeah, Robert confirmed that he did. So,
Yep.
you know, that's awesome on this guy, man. So before we move forward, so hey, before we get into our picks and look at last week's scores and everything, let's talk. Let's jump into the football and our kind of our offensive, defensive, coach's hot seat. I'll start off. I'll tell you that my offensive player was Kim will like it. I chose Justin Herbert. You know, he only threw for 281 yards. He was 26 for 38, but he threw 4 touchdowns. And I think what I really liked best about him is that that game was tight in the end, and he stood in there like a seasoned professional, and and threw that 4th touchdown, and that was was a big deal. I mean, I just liked his poise. When the pressure's on, you're playing against Patrick Mahomes, and he comes out with the win. So, and it gives the Chiefs, 2 straight losses. So Justin Herbert was my offensive player of the week.
That's awesome pick. I was so happy for that kid, and I saw some things about him in the locker room after the game, and he was just as excited as you can possibly be. He was just loving it. His team was loving it. So yeah, good on the Chargers for sure, and Justin Herbert. I'm going to guess that this will be the only week where my offensive player of the week is a kicker. And the only reason my offensive player of the week is a kicker is because Justin Tucker kicked the game winner, new NFL record, 66-yard field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah.
He's got the NFL record now for the all-time longest field goal. And so for that reason, he's my offensive player of the week.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic pick. Absolutely. I should have picked him as well, because it's not often that you're setting records in the NFL. And that record's been held since 2013 by my fantasy kicker, Matt Prater. And Matt Prater kicked one that was 66 or 68 this weekend and came up short against Jacksonville. And Jacksonville ran his missed kickback for a touchdown for I think the tied for the longest run back or something like that in NFL history. So not only do you not set a new record, you get the kick run back on you for a touchdown, but Cardinals still trounced the Jaguars, so it doesn't really matter. So defensive, and Roberts at 68 is so close. I think Matt's got the leg for it. I think we've seen some kickers. I think what's more, it's not that I think the reason these record distance kicks aren't tried off, or it's not, the record aren't broken as often, is because coaches don't want to try them. They're afraid to try them. And we had 2 coaches try long field goals, 66, 68 yards, and without fear. I mean, I think more coaches are considering those longer kicks. I think kickers have a harder time with the short kicks than they do the longer kicks this year. And so, I think that we probably will see that 66 fall. I think we may see that 66 fall this year, because I think more coaches are just taking a chance that, hey, we're within here, rather than punting or trying to, just throw a deep ball or something. Let's try and kick it, because there are some kickers with legs, and Tucker and Prater just go right up there to the top. But good on Tucker. That was a fantastic pick. I should have picked him too. I'm a loser. So on defense, my defense was actually 3 people, but it really encompasses the whole team. And that was Kenny Young, Leonard Floyd, and Aaron Donald, who racked up 3 sacks on Tom Brady. I mean, that's not an easy feat with Tom Brady, because he gets rid of the ball so quick, 2.4, 2.5 seconds. So the whole Rams defense, obviously the corners, the back, everyone, gave those linemen and those players the ability to get in there and get sacks. But so really, it's the Rams defense. But I just pulled out those three because they're the ones. Each of them got a sack on Tom Brady, and Kenny Young had 8 tackles and 2 assists to throw on top of that. So, an impressive game, for him. But yeah, just kind of the Rams defense. But just to get 3 sacks on Tom Brady in a single game is a difficult feat. So that's who I chose.
Yeah, my defensive guy was also a sack artist this week.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
He had 4.5 sacks this week. The only team to have more sacks than he did individually were the Broncos with 5. So he had a half sack less than the Broncos that led the league in sacks this week. He had double with 4.5 than I think more than half of the teams that played this week total. So he got 4.5 against, a rookie Justin Fields back there, not kind of knowing what to do and where to go. The line didn't play very well for Chicago at all. That poor kid was under duress all game. And since I'm already talking about it, I'm just going to lead into my hot seat coach of the week, and that would be Chicago Bears coach Nagy. His offense had 47 total offensive yards for the game. Ooh. There's many players in the league that get that off of one play. He had 47 for the whole game. I would have fired him right after the game because that in the NFL where you can't bump really anymore, you can't be physical anymore. They call a bunch of penalties. To only have 47 yards in an NFL game on offense is, to me, that's fireable. You're fired. I mean, I think you could get many coaches that aren't head coaches in the NFL to come in and get 50 yards of offense out of a team in an NFL game.
50 yards. You and I
yeah,
could get 50
I'm just saying, if you ran the ball every play, you would get more than 50 yards. And you had a rookie quarterback, so you should have been having, a lot more easier throws, some slants, some curls, some, you're going to knock out 5 to 8 yards at a time. You're not going big, but it's all going to add up to more than 47 yards a game.
Wow.
But yeah, he's on the hot seat. I mean, as he should be. You can't have 47 offensive yards in an NFL game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't look at the stats on that. Otherwise, I your pick is better than my pick. Mine was Indianapolis coach Frank Reich, the head coach there. 0-3. You got Carson Wentz, who I will be honest, I've said it before, should not be in the NFL. So just for the fact that the team picked him up and gave up, some value to get him, but be 0-3 with Carson Wentz. The guy can throw it. The guy can. I mean, I just think that team who, when Frank Reich came in, he took a bad team, made them a playoff team in a year, and it's just gone backwards since. And so when you've been able to get a team to be competitive and you're no longer competitive, yeah. So I just picked Frank Reich, but yours is a better pick, and I should have picked yours. So because 47 yards of offense is a travesty. It's an embarrassment. And I, as a head coach, I probably would have just fired myself and say, you know what? And I'd have got up in the press conference and say, you know what? We had 47 yards of offense tonight. If I could, I'd just fire myself because that's got to be on me. I obviously didn't game plan. I didn't use our talent the way I should have. And I suck. So if I get fired tonight after I get back into the office, I'm going to tell you right now, I deserve it. And I apologize to the fans of Chicago. Thank you. I'm out.
Bye.
Oh, I so want to give a press conference now. Yeah. So no, great picks. You had some fantastic picks in there this week. And, so moving on, so last week we I don't know, did any games stand out to you last week? Is trying to get over here to look at the scores a little bit, so everybody can kind of look at it with us. But I don't know if we can blow that up a little bit.
My
Um,
Sunday night game, because the 49ers had that one and they allowed the Packers with 37 seconds to get all the way down the field on national TV to kick a field goal to win in less than 40 seconds with no timeouts. And they get two big chunk plays. One's like a 30-yarder, and another one's like a 20-yarder. And they get in range and they win the game at the end with the field goal after Jimmy G finally does what he needs to do for people to give him respect, gets down the field on a final drive to beat Aaron Rodgers, the reigning league MVP, and maybe cut the naysayers out, and then his defense lets him down and allows that field goal. And so I text you after the game. That's the kind of loss that it could linger for a couple weeks. It could be hard to get over a loss like that. But they don't have time because now they have to play their rival Seattle Seahawks at home this weekend. So
Yeah.
I think that's the only good thing is that they have a rivalry game right after it. So they don't really get time to sit on that loss for very long because they really have to show up in this division game this week at home. This is a must-win home game in the division for them against their rival. So that my game definitely stood out. And then, the Rams played so well against the Bucks, and I thought that would be a great game, and it was a pretty good game. But for the Rams to win by 10 at home, it was the first time Tom Brady had ever played in Los Angeles. Poor guy just can't do it when all the lights are on him, I guess. At Hollywood, he just can't win a big game, I guess, that Brady. But that stood out to me too because I thought that would be a good game, and it was. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was a good game to watch, and I it's just that the way Aaron Rodgers played in week 2, 37 seconds. It's just like having Tom Brady back there, right? They can get some chunks, and to be fair, they were able to get chunks of yardage off the pass at will.
All game.
All game. So
yeah.
You knew it was going to be possible. And so they're just sitting back there and, just trying not to let anything get behind them. And they give up, I think the first play was like 37 yards, and then it's like this game. As soon as that first pass was over, got him to midfield, I said, this game is over. This game is absolutely over. Green Bay is going to win, and they did. I saw a meme that was posted with Jimmy Garoppolo smiling at his player because they were just all the media and all the cameras were all over him, after that touchdown, and everybody thought, oh, it's in the books, and he's just happy and smiling, and then the picture below it's like him just going, just kind of deadpan, less than a minute later, and so that was a tough loss. That was a tough break, but as the only other game, and I'm gonna be honest, I only watched part of it because I just knew what was going to happen, and that was the Eagles Cowboys. I really wanted the Eagles to win that game, or at least make it a contest, not 41-21. But they just had the Eagles just had the quarterback. I mean, I think it was the second quarter before they even ran the ball for the first time. It was ridiculous. I mean, if the Eagles defense kept them in it early on, and they were just trying to get into a shootout and couldn't. And then when they couldn't score, as soon as they started punting and going 3 and out, I said, this game's over. And obviously, yeah, it was. But yeah, some good ball last week. And, Broncos looked really good. And but let's look forward to this week. And hang on, I got a graphic here. Let's see if I can find that graphic. Oh, it's buried somewhere, I think. It's this one. Oh, let me show this real quick. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So I picked up
buried in the pit of my heart.
I'm still only 500. I don't know how I went from 500 to 500 this week.
You're 8-8 every week so far.
And so I picked up a few games on you this week. And I was saying earlier I need to do a better job of writing down your picks. And before we move forward, I want to say, hey Kim, how you doing? Sorry I didn't get back to you on the Facebook Messenger when you said about the talked about the Chargers, and but I did. If you hadn't joined, Justin Herbert was my offensive player of the week with his 4 touchdowns. So thanks for joining the show, Kim, the biggest Charger fan that we have on our that joins our show. Probably the only Charger fan that joins our show. So yeah. So what? How did it work out? How did it break down this week? What were the differences? Where'd I get you? Where'd you get me?
You got me on that 49er game. You picked the Packers. You also picked Cleveland over the Bears. I took the Bears more of a sentimental thing, so that was dumb of me with a rookie quarterback. I got you because I took the Rams and you took the Bucks.
Yep.
And then the last one, I took Seattle for my wife, and that didn't pan out because you took the Vikings, and the Vikings ended up winning that game. So that was the differences.
Yeah, so hopefully, first week I had a few games on you, I think 3 or 4 games, and then I gave them almost all of them, all but one. I picked up a few. I just need to get a little more consistent. Week 2, I'm going to be honest, I did pick a lot of emotional picks, I think. And so I think I kind of straightened it up last week. But so this week, lots of games going on, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance to really dig in deep on these, so I'm going to make these picks kind of on the fly. If you're anyone that's watching, put your picks, what you think on each of these games in the comments, and what you think. Play the spread with us, and but let's jump in. So the first game we have is the Jaguars are at the Bengals, and the Bengals are favored. I would never in a million years say the Bengals are favored by 7.5 over any team. But the Jaguars are 0-3, and Trevor Lawrence, rookie back there, rookie coach. Bengals 7.5. This is a tough pick. I'm gonna let you go first. I might just steal your pick. No,
I think the Bengals have been playing pretty well. They beat the Pitt Steelers, which I don't know how good the Steelers are, but they did win pretty by 10 against the Steelers. And I think the Steelers are better than the Jaguars. So if they can beat the Steelers by 10, why not? At home, beat a team that hasn't won, a bunch of first-year people. I'll take the Bengals at home after they just had a 10-point win the week before.
Yeah, that was actually a 14-point win against the Steelers. And
even better.
Yeah, and with that, it is the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are not as good as the Steelers, so I'm easily going to take that 7.5. So Washington is traveling to Atlanta. Atlanta did pull out a win this week, surprisingly, but they did play the Giants, who okay. I really thought the Giants would beat the Falcons. I think both of us did. We both picked the Giants, I believe, last week. But yeah, I'm easily going to take Washington to win this game, and that's 1.5 is just winning the game almost. So if they win by 1, I'm going to be upset. But I'm taking Washington on this.
I'm going to take Washington also, and that Giants coach was almost my coach on the hot seat. If the Bears wouldn't have done so terribly, he would have been my coach on the hot seat. Actually, both the New York coaches would have been my coaches on the hot seat.
So just to catch up a little bit, Kim said that she picked the Chargers with a KC. Of course you did. You're a homer for San Diego or LA Chargers, sorry. And she's picking the Jags. So she does not agree with us.
Bring it.
Okay. And
we'll
she's also picking Washington there. So next game is Texans are traveling to visit Buffalo. Buffalo is 16.5. Wow, Buffalo's beat Washington 43-21. The Texans only scored 9 points. That's a huge spread.
It's twice as big as any other spread.
Is it really?
Yeah. The next is 8. So it's it's a double 0.5.
I mean, they scored 43 against a fairly decent Washington defense. Washington put up 21. I'll take the Bills. Why not? I'll take the Bills.
Yeah, it's just crazy enough that it might happen. And they're at home. And the Texans aren't very good. So, it could be a blowout.
Kim's with this. She's taking the risk. Risk it for the biscuit. Bills.
Brisket.
And all right, so we have Lions at Chicago. Chicago is favored here by 3, and but they are playing the Lions. So yeah, it is an easy one for me. I'm taking the Bears. You can't play that bad all the time, and it is the Lions.
I've seen some good things from the Lions, though, even though they're losing. I haven't seen much good at all from the Bears. The only good thing I saw was they had a good pass rush on Baker Mayfield in the first half of the game this week. But that didn't last till the second half. So, and their court, 47 yards, that's atrocious. The Lions are going to get that in one drive. This is a really hard pick for me because I always go with the Bears because they're my second favorite team. They're at home in Soldier Field, which they will be moving out of as they just bought property in the suburbs of Chicago for a new stadium this week. I just got to take the Bears at home, though. They got to figure something out. Those guys are all professionals. They have to just come back this week with their hair on fire because they're the laughing stock of the NFL after last week.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to man up and just go play berserk against these Lions at home. So I'll take the Bears still.
Kim also took the Bears. Robert put in some picks. I'm not going to show them yet because we haven't got – well, he chose Buffalo. We did get to that game already, I believe, and Detroit. But we haven't got to the others too, so we'll follow up on Robert's here in a minute. Make sure we get all of his in. So Panthers going to the Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 5. It's just I want to pick every single week. I want to pick against the Cowboys, and it's getting harder, and they're playing well, and it's tough. So who do you think in this game?
Sam Darnold isn't playing bad for the Panthers this year. He's playing a lot better than I thought he would. But with that being said, with Dallas at home and Dallas playing so well this season, I will take the Cowboys at home to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, it pains me to really say it, but it really
Plus
pains me to
McCaffrey's
say it.
out again. He's always out. He's out
that's
again.
true.
He's out.
Damn it. He's my number one. Yeah, he's on my fantasy team, and yeah, he's out for at least a few weeks with that hamstring. I need to try and dump Aaron Rodgers for a running back in our league and see if someone will give me a decent running back for Aaron Rodgers, who I just put on my bench. Oh, I guess so. Robert's correcting me and says those are all games we've gone over. So Stout hitting the already. Probably. I can't remember why I walked into this room and sat down at this desk. So thanks, Robert. So let's just catch Robert up. So he picked Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Buffalo. I guess we already went over those games. So he's catching up. And so Robert's on the record there. And moving on to our next game, Colts going to Miami, the warm, humid weather down there, and the Dolphins. This is probably why I put Frank Reich on the hot seat, because they're going to Miami and they're underdogs to a really bad team. I mean, but then for Miami, they're not even getting the home field 3 points. So I put the coach on a hot seat, but I'm probably going to take the Colts here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts just because I think their defense is enough to hold the points low enough, because I don't think the Dolphins have a very good offense. I think the Colts defense will do enough, and I think Hines and Taylor might run pretty well against the Dolphins. I think the run game might work pretty well for the Colts, so it wouldn't have to be on Wentz if he was to do that. So I'll take the Colts too.
Awesome. So Kim's in agreement with us, and Robert is also in agreement with us with Indiana, and he's got Carolina. So moving right along. So the Browns are visiting the Vikings. Vikings are playing mediocre football. Browns are playing much better football. I don't care that. I think 2 points is, less than a field goal. I'm taking the Browns here. Browns are really playing well.
They are. And they have, honestly, they had a great pass rush against a terrible team in the Bears last week. But 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. I think I'm going to take the Vikings just so we have one game different finally this week, and they're at home. And I just have to. They just have to win or lose by a point. So I'll go ahead and take the Vikings because they're at home.
And you can absolutely win that game because like I said, the Vikings
they're not playing terrible.
No, they're not playing terrible.
They smashed the Seahawks without Cook. He wasn't even their tailback didn't even play, and they still smashed them. Cousins threw it all over them.
Roberts asked if he could take the over.
Yeah, for sure. I'd take the over in that game too. It's probably going to be like 50, 64 or something like 61.
And Kim's got the Vikings as well. I lost where I was. Oh, so yeah, here's a game. Giants going to New Orleans. Saints are favored by 8. I still don't know what to think of the Saints. I mean, they beat the Patriots, but really, how good are the Patriots? And they win big week 1, lose, win. I still don't know what their identity is. What do you think?
I don't have to know what the Saints' identity is. I know the Giants are terrible because they lost to the Falcons. So based upon that, I'm taking the Saints because the Giants have to be pretty damn bad to lose to the Falcons.
Yeah.
And the Saints are at home, and they have a big crowd, big favorite at home.
Oh, I'm going to give – this is a tough one for me.
You just don't like that 8 points.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the Giants. I watched them. I think it was against the Ravens week 2 maybe. Or whoever they played in week 2. And no, it wasn't the Ravens. It was damn it. Anyway, I thought they played pretty well. Oh, it was Washington. And I just thought that Daniel Jones played pretty well. Washington doesn't have a horrible defense, and that was a close game. They almost won that game. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up the Giants here. They may not win, but I don't think they'll lose by 3 points. I'm sorry, 8 points. So let's see how bad I did with our viewers. So Kim says the Saints, and Robert says the Vikings and the Saints. So I'm out here on an island by myself, and ask Aunt Candy about her Giants. No, because there's probably not a lot of positive things to be said there. So so the Titans of Tennessee are going to visit the Jets. I don't care who's playing the Jets. I'm going to give them their points. I don't care if it's 40 points. I'm taking the Titans here. I'm surprised this isn't a larger spread. The Titans haven't been – I mean, again, I've said it before. The Tannehill project is over. They're not going to – if they make the playoffs, they'll lose first round against a good team. So, but it's the Jets. And for now, I'm just going to – the Titans – anyone that plays the Jets, I'm taking the spread until the Jets prove me wrong.
Yeah, ditto. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the quarterback, rookie Wilson at the Jets, has thrown multiple interceptions all 3 games of the season. He's on pace to set the rookie record for interceptions in a season. The Titans, I don't think that the Jets have anyone that can tackle Derrick Henry on their whole roster. So I think this is an easy win for the Titans.
So Robert's going to try and, tell me that the Giants lost 2 of their wide receivers last game, both still out likely. Yeah, I'm still going to stick. I don't think that their wide receivers, none of them are going to be, I don't think it's going to matter. I still think they stay within 8. Kim says the Titans and Robert says, yep, Titans. So, agrees. I think we all agree on that. I don't think it's difficult to disagree. So the team that's lost their last 2 games is going to visit the Eagles, and who just got blown out by the Cowboys, which I think part of the Eagles' loss was due to poor game planning, and on behalf of the coaching with their pass heavy decisions, and that just goes 3rd and long, 3 and out, and that's not going to do much. I mean, the Eagles' defense, I think, is decent, and so I'm still going to take. I'm still going to give the Chiefs. I'm still going to take the Chiefs. I mean, they've lost 2 games. They can't afford to lose anymore.
Yeah, I think they're just too talented on offense. I feel like the Chiefs are going to put up like 40, even though the Eagles have a decent defense. But didn't Dallas just put up 40 on Monday?
Yeah.
If Dallas can put up 40, the Chiefs can put up 40. So, and I don't think the Eagles can score 40. So I'll totally take the Chiefs also.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs right now are not built to come from behind. So I think once a team gets a lead on them, like Dallas did, they got a 2-touchdown lead on them, and they couldn't make it up. And so Kim says the Chiefs. So we're all in agreement so far there. And so I think that was pretty easy. So here's a conference game. This is a big game. And Cardinals Rams. Where are you going, Dave? You got the 4-0 Cardinals leading the division right now and playing the Rams. And the Rams lose a game yet this year? I think they did. Nope, they're undefeated. They're 3-0 also. I'm sorry. So 3-0 Cardinals and 3-0 Rams. 2 undefeated teams. Who's going to be the first team to lose this weekend?
I'm taking the Rams at home just because they beat the Bucks at home by 10. So that's my only logic is they just won at home against a very good team by 10. So I'll take the Rams.
Yeah, it was a hard one for me. See, this is where the Homer emotions come in, and I have somebody that's got season tickets that's taking me to the game after this game against the 49ers. So I don't want to lose losing those tickets because no, I'll take the Cardinals. I'll take the Cardinals. 4.5 points. Cardinals could lose by a field goal and I win this game. So, yeah, I mean, all logic says that the Rams are will cover this, and but the Cardinals have played a very tough Vikings team with Cook that was just running all over them. The Rams aren't going to run the ball, and as much as Vikings. I mean, I think the Cardinals can keep this close. They've got a really great streak running, and Kyler Murray's he's playing good football this year. So yeah, and I think DeAnthony Hopkins he didn't get a lot. DeAnthony Hopkins had a bad game last week because he's on my fantasy team. I think he's only had 2 or 3 catches last week, and but that was a tough defense that they were up against. So anyway, so I'm just gonna no, it wasn't. It was the Jags. But anyway, yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals. You're taking the Rams, and you'll probably make up a game on me. So we'll see. So trying to catch up with our viewers. Robert takes the Chiefs. Kim is taking the Rams. And Robert says, I'll take the points. Rams win by 3. So Robert's on my court and on this one with the Cardinals. So, and hey, I was a lifelong Rams fan, until they ditched Kurt. And I'm still an NFC West fan. It's just that with the NFC West, the Cardinals are on top for me. Then the Rams, then the Niners, and then the Seahawks. Sorry. Speaking of the Seahawks, they're going to Levi Stadium in San Francisco to play the 49ers. And how far the Seahawks have fallen. They're struggling, and I'm not surprised. But because they're just playing the same people year after year after year and hoping for the best. But I'll take the 49ers here. That's not a problem with that. 3 points. I
got to take my Niners at home, especially I hope they come out on fire. Hopefully the whole team is really pissed off on how they lost on national TV to the Packers, and they put the foot on the gas right at the start, and they kind of put it on a struggling Seattle team a bit early, get up early, and can kind of, get a good rivalry win at home. So I'll take the Niners also.
Sweet. I'll find my mouse here. Kim also says the Niners, so we're all on board with that. And so this one now, this is, I mean, to see I mean, does Vegas know who the Broncos are playing? I mean, they're not a bad. They're playing a. I mean, Ravens almost beat the Chiefs week 1, and
they did beat the Chiefs.
They did. So it was. That was Gosh, I scrolled up way too far. In preseason, they did beat the Chiefs. Who almost beat the Chiefs week 1? That was the Browns. The Browns gave the Chiefs a run for their money and lost. Couldn't stand in there like Justin Herbert did, huh, Kim? And I'm taking the Ravens in this. Easy money for me. Put my whole paycheck on the Ravens.
I mean, I'm going to do the Ravens. I know the Broncos have been playing well, but the Broncos beat the Giants, who suck. And then in week 2, the Broncos beat who they beat? The Jaguars, who sucked. And then in week 3, the Broncos beat, let's see, who they beat? The Jets, who sucked. So they might have played the 3 worst teams. I mean, why don't you just give them Atlanta in week 4 and just let them go 4-0 against the 4 worst teams in the league right off the bat? Because that's basically what their schedule is. They already played 3 of the worst teams in the league. So I think they get their first loss because they're not going to know what hits them when a real team comes out and a real coach comes out and plays against them because they've been on cruise control for the first 3 weeks of the season. And
no, I
only won. Like, yeah, I see the Ravens winning this game.
Yeah, I just don't see where the that spread is coming. I mean, where that's coming from. I mean, maybe because they played weak against the Lions, but they beat the Chiefs. And it's like, do you think the Broncos could beat the Chiefs? You're saying the Broncos could beat the Chiefs by giving them, 1 point. They're not getting the full 3 you might typically get for home field advantage. But yeah, I'm taking the Ravens is the easy one. So Kim says the Broncos and Robert just wants to laugh. So you said something funny. And moving on to who knows what the Steelers are going to do this week to what the Packers will do this week. And I'll let you pick first on this one.
I'm going to take the Packers. I mean, that was a big win for them on the road. Now they get to go home against a struggling Steelers team, against a Ben Roethlisberger that can't really move around anymore. I think the Packers have some momentum, good momentum after that win, and they're going to come back home and I think take care of the Steelers. Win by 7 at least.
Yeah, I have to take the same thing. I mean, Steelers are just like, to me, are like the Seahawks. They're just willing. They're not willing to rebuild and just start over with a new era of talent. And so they're just going to, let everyone play in their walkers and wheelchairs, and because they have name recognition. So yeah, I'll easily take the Packers along with you on this, and Kim is going along with this. No, wait, whoa, Kim, hang on, Kim, can we have a conversation? Let's just come over here. The Steelers. Have you watched football this year and seen what Aaron Rodgers has been able to do game 2 with game 3? Let's just throw away game 1 and what the Steelers have been doing. So Steelers have been battling. They've been fighting. They've been in the trenches. I'm not going to lie. But, Kim, I'll give you a second chance if you want to change your answer. Aaron is riding high. Robert's in line with the Packers here. So, Kim, maybe I'll give it to you. Maybe you're playing the points. Maybe it's not 6.5. I'll give that one to you. But so moving on. Still love you, Kim. You'll like what's coming up. But the Bucks are big game tomorrow night. This is, I am not gonna miss this game tomorrow night. Bucks.
This isn't tomorrow night.
Oh, it's not? Oh,
this is Sunday.
Sunday night game. Sorry, my bad. Sorry about that. I knew it was a nighttime game, and I just assumed it was tomorrow. So I guess I get go to bed early tomorrow. Sunday night, Bucks going back to New England. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. The game everyone has been waiting for forever and ever and ever since the divorce. And this, I don't know who picked. Who did you pick the last game, or I did? I'll pick the Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks on this. Tom Brady versus Mac Jones. I mean, Bill Belichick's a great coach, but he's rebuilding against a team that's solid. And I don't know if with the signing today of Richard Sherman, if he'll be playing this week or maybe he'll start next week. But it's not going to matter. I think Bucks easily win this by 6.5.
So if it was a divorce, Belichick got to keep the house, but Brady got all the jewelry and more. Is that what happened? I think that's what happened. He took all the jewelry and more, got more jewelry, and Belichick got to keep the rundown house in the cold of New England. And now Brady has more jewelry and is on the beaches of Florida. I think I'd rather be Tom, if I had to be honest.
Right?
I'd rather be drunk Tom on the boat tossing the trophy over calm waters in Daytona Beach. I got, everyone's been waiting for this. Like you said, it's probably one of the biggest. Player goes back to his original, team ever. I mean, this is like, I don't even know how to compare it, because it's like we've never seen a guy of his caliber leave a team, win a championship immediately, and then go back and play like his hometown. Maybe LeBron, after he went to Miami and won some championships and then had to go back and play. But he didn't win anything in Cleveland. He didn't win 6 rings in Cleveland. Like, we've never really seen this caliber of going back against the old team just because Tom's won so much. But I would imagine not only Tom, but all his teammates for him, which are a lot of veteran guys, they're going to win this by 20. I was surprised it was 6.5. They're going to be busting their ass, every teammate on the Bucks, to absolutely destroy New England at home. I was surprised that this spread wasn't 10, because I would have, if it was 10, if it was 13, I probably would have still took the Bucks. You got Mac Jones, who's a rookie, against this veteran coaching staff, against a veteran defense. He hasn't looked that great. I see the Bucks winning this by 2 touchdowns. So obviously I'm going to take the Bucks on this.
And Robert says that he sees that Brady can drop a 50 burger on Bill, and
they're going to try to make this a college score on them.
Oh, I think so. If I'm Tom Brady pregame, you're out there warming up. You see Bill Belichick over there. Say, hey, coach. You walk over there. I think he shows up with his 7 rings and shakes Bill's hand. I'm sorry.
No, he shows up. He shows up just wearing the Tampa one. He shows up only wearing the Tampa one.
Oh, I mean. Yeah, I mean, no, it's all going to be good. And I mean, if you're if you're in New England and Tom Brady is throwing touchdowns, as fans, what do how do you react as a Patriot fan? Now your guy who's won you 6 Super Bowls, how do you treat him? Right? You treat him. You don't boo him, right?
No, you boo your franchise that let him leave and not stick with the team for this whole career. You boo the general manager. You boo Bill Belichick. You boo the owner. You don't let that. Did the Lakers let Kobe go to another team? Did you ever see Magic Johnson wear another jersey? Larry Bird only played for the Celtics. Like, you don't let the GOATs of their sport leave. Like, you keep them forever on that team. You don't make them go anywhere else. You give them whatever they want. I mean, they deserve it. They're the best at what they've done out of everyone in the history of the game, basically. So, I would boo the management. I wouldn't boo him.
Yeah, and I think Tom Brady's playing exciting football with the Bucks. I think he's a lot more fun to watch. I think it's a different style of ball for him, and he's adapted well. It took him a few games in year one, and they still won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they lost to a Rams team, and that's that was a fantastic test. So they know what they got to work on, the rest of the season. So go ahead.
We can't forget it's not just Brady going back. Gronk is going back also.
Oh, yeah.
And Gronk is like the best receiver they've ever had in the history of the franchise. So not only is your GOAT quarterback coming back, but one of the other best players you've ever had that will help you win all those Super Bowls is coming back also.
Yeah.
And they're on the same team. So it's a double whammy. Because, Gronk sold almost just as many jerseys as Tom Brady did in New England.
Yeah, he did. He did. Don't want to forget you, Kim. Get your pick in there. You got the Bucks. We know Robert's got the Bucks, wants to drop 50 on them. So that's going to be a fun game. That is one of the games I'm absolutely not going to miss this weekend. I don't think anyone in the world is going to miss that game this weekend. So let's close it up with the picks. Oh, this is going to be a fun game too, I think. And the Raiders going to SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles to play the Chargers. Justin Herbert, my offensive pick of the week, and Kim's team. And as fantastic as the Raiders have been playing this year, Chargers are favored by 3.5, and I'm laying it out there that they will cover 3.5.
So I have a theme going all year where I pick against the Chargers even though I don't want to. It's what I've done for the first 3 weeks because I like the Chargers. That's probably the closest team to my house, even though them and the Rams share the same stadium. So I would just say I don't want to jinx the Chargers because they're doing pretty good when I've picked against them all year, but it's really hard not to pick them because I really like them and I like them in this game. They are in Vegas. There is the potential for a bunch of Raider fans to abduct Justin Herbert before the game, or
they're not in Vegas. They're in LA.
Oh yeah, then that makes it even easier. But there's still a bunch of Raider fans in LA that are pissed off that they now have to root for the Chargers and their team left. Oh gosh, could you imagine? You're a Raider fan your whole life and your team leaves and then you get the Chargers. Oh, how pissed off are you? Where you've thought they're this soft team down south like your whole life, I gotta take the Chargers though. They're just playing so good, and maybe I'll jinx them the opposite way this week, but I think they got it handled. After that Chiefs win, they got to feel like they could take the AFC. Yeah. They have to have enough confidence to think, you know what, if we beat the Chiefs, we can be right there with them. We can be right there with, Buffalo. We can be there. We can be there at the end and be competitive in the playoffs if we can run with these teams right now. So I'll also take the Chargers. I will pick them this week.
Well, you also got to look at the Raiders did win this week, but they beat the Dolphins 31-28.
Yeah, they're barely winning games.
Wasn't it overtime?
Yeah, I think the second week they were in overtime, or it was a close game also. Like, they've been in some close games. They're not blowing anyone out.
No. So, but to be that close with the Dolphins, obviously, I would take Chargers over the Dolphins any day of the week. So to go to overtime, I believe it was overtime with the Dolphins. Yeah. That's that should really be. It was overtime, and so go Chargers. And just to get everything on, I don't know who Kim really thought was gonna wanted to win this game, but her team, she's gonna pick. Robert says, give me the Raiders, but Chargers win on a last-minute field goal. Okay, we'll see how that pans out. And Kim says David is a Raiders fan against his mama's team. And so
her son David's a Raider fan.
Oh, gotcha. And I was like, hey, okay, that is right. So our picks are in, your picks are in, and what going to be another good week of football. There are 4 or 5 games in there that I am not going to want to miss. And speaking of not going to want to miss, we are almost done, but we cannot complete a show without our one of our most important sections of the show, and that is play it through. And I got to tell you that shirt looks good on you, man. That color works well with you and represents well. And I'm gonna hand it over to you to take this week's to share this your choice this week of play it through person of the week.
All right. Thanks, buddy. You enjoy some Woot Stout for a couple minutes while I get through this play it through person of the week. So this week, my play it through person of the week is Yursa Mardini. She's a 23-year-old Olympic swimmer. She swims for the refugee Olympic team. So Yursa grew up in Daraya, Syria. When she was 14, she began swimming in championship events for the Syrian Olympic Committee. So she's kind of been swimming her whole life. At 18 years old, she and her sister in August of 2015 decided to flee Syria after their home was destroyed during the Syrian civil war. So they got on a 6-person boat with 18 other refugees. So tight fit there. And the engine stopped, and herself, her sister, and 2 other people that could swim ended up treading water to keep the boat afloat with all the people in it for 3 hours in the Aegean Sea until luckily the motor started back up. Once the motor stopped back up, they got to Lesbos, Greece. Her sister and herself then traveled by foot through Europe until they got to Berlin, Germany, where they have lived since. Her parents also fled with her other sister after that and are also now in Germany as refugees. So she's been a refugee there for about 4 or 5 years. Once she got to Germany, she started swimming again, got a coach, and she earned a spot on her current refugee Olympic team, which was something I learned about. I didn't even realize watching the Olympics. I don't think I ever heard about the refugee Olympic team, but they actually compete with all the other countries. She has participated in the 2016 Olympics and the 2018 Olympics, 2020 Olympics. Her best event is the 100-meter butterfly. She also has a book out after her favorite event, the butterfly. It's called Butterfly, written about her life. There's also a biographical movie in the works about her life. She's also part of a group of European athletes since 2017 that is sponsored by Under Armour. I think in one of the pictures, she's wearing a black Under Armour outfit. And then even an Irish musician wrote a song called Olympian based on her life and her life's experiences. So I'll be looking forward to seeing this young lady in her quest to be in the Olympics in Paris in 2024. And just kind of an amazing story. She's done a lot of interviews that you can see on YouTube. I'm going to want to check out a couple of her other things. And shoot, I don't have it right now. Just give me 1 second. Chuck, you go in. But that's why this is my play it through person of the week. Swimmer Yursa Mardini, and I'll be right back with something. You make a comment about the story that I just gave everybody.
Well, thanks for putting me on the spot. No, you know what? Hey, there are so many people especially in the Olympic community that take chances, take risks. Throughout Olympic history, there have been so many people who've either defected or been a refugee and to, escape persecution. And we've even seen it in the 2020 Summer Olympics that just happened this year, obviously a year later. So you see, all of these athletes that are just, obviously we're all human beings, and they've taken a risk to either defect or be a refugee to escape oppression and or violence. It's great to see a success story come out of that. Just as hopefully we will see with the young gal that sought asylum when her country called her back and she could no longer compete because they wanted her to compete in another sport that she was not prepared to compete in and threatened her. So these are, fantastic stories of these young athletes that take these risks because in many instances they may have to leave their family behind and, to make these moves for themselves or even their loved ones with them. And so, and they risk not ever being able to go back and see their family or their loved ones in these decisions. So there's a lot of courage that is that goes into these decisions. And so I see Dave's back, and so I'm done, and it's all his again.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up, I forgot to grab this and put it on, but I think a couple shows ago I had mentioned that a previous Play It Through person of the week, Rob Mendez, had a book out that I wanted to purchase. And I went down to Barnes & Noble this week, and a man of my word, I purchased that book. So there was one copy left at my Barnes & Noble. Here is his book, Who Says I Can't? So his story. He did have a signing in San Diego that I wanted to get to, so I could meet him in person and just tell him how much I thought about him and what a great story it was, and get my book signed. But it happened to be last Saturday, and I couldn't go anywhere because I had COVID, and so I haven't left the house. Now I'm negative, so good news for me, good news for my house. We were all had it for a couple weeks, and now we're all negative, and we're all healthy, and we're all feeling good again. And so we got through it just fine, and so we're happy about that. But it did ruin my chance to get my book signed. So I have reached out to him on Instagram. I don't know if he'll write me back, but I would take the risk, and I would mail my book to him if he would sign it, with a box to put it back in and shipping to send it back to me. And if I didn't get it back, well, I'd just go out and buy another one of his books, because I'll support it no matter what, whether I get it signed or not, because I think it's a great story. So you can pick this up at your local Barnes & Noble. You can buy it off of Amazon. There's paperback versions too, but I'm old school. I like a good hardback version of a book. So I went out and got me this book, and I'm excited to read it. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to plan to read a half an hour at my lunch break, and then I'm going to read a half an hour before I go to bed. And the book is only, I mean, anybody that's a good reader, you could get through this pretty fast. It's like 225 pages. It's not going to take you very long to get through this. You could read this book in a week. So, yeah, I suggest go pick this up, and I'm going to start enjoying this book this week.
That's awesome. If I read a book going to bed, I make it about a page and I'm out. So
I'm pretty sure he has the audio version too.
Yeah,
on Amazon.
You know, I'm the kind of guy, I tell my wife all the time, she loves to read books. She's reading maybe 2, sometimes maybe 3 at a time. And I'm like, yeah, I'll wait for the movie. So, because it'll take me that long probably to get through the book because of my attention span. And if I try to, she reads when we go to bed at night. And if I did that, I literally halfway through the page, I start doing this, I start thinking about other things. And then by the bottom, I'm like, books falling on my face. So I'm not much of a reader. I love to read, and I just not much of a book reader, but good on you. It does sound like a fantastic book. I'm not putting it down or in any way. So that was a fantastic choice of Play It Through this week. And if you're not familiar with Play It Through, please check out Play It Through and Dave at Play It Through on Facebook and Instagram. It's a fantastic cause and organization. It's supporting literally every cause that's out there in representation of people who've played it through and who've gone through adversity, come out the other side in a positive way, has a positive story to share. And Dave has done a fantastic job with building this and sharing this. There are so many people out there that I've seen through his social media that are representing Play It Through and bringing other people into the cause and to recognize Play It Through. And so, you know, if you know someone that's played through adversity, come out the other side, reach out to Dave either through Facebook or Instagram or email or this show, put a comment in to say, hey, contact me. I have someone that would be perfect for this. And even if it's someone that you think, hey, you maybe want to talk to people about that, we'd love to have those people on the show, do an interview with them, and they could be an inspiration to others. And the hundreds of people that we reach each week through viewing our show. So
we are on YouTube now also. You can see the recordings on YouTube.
We are on YouTube, and we got our first YouTube comment by someone we actually don't know on YouTube. So that was fantastic. So it's like, oh, the first unknown person that's not a family member, friend, or, acquaintance that commented on viewing our show. So that's obviously positive. We're doing what we can to grow the show, but really it's just fun for us to be able to join you each week and have you be a part of the conversation, because we love you all and what you bring to the show. So it's always about you and sports, and obviously the brews or the spirits, and there's just a little bit. No, there's not. So the show now has to end because this glass is empty. And so with that, fans, have a fantastic week. Enjoy your show, your football this week. Oh, I was waiting for the chug. And there it goes. And so now that the glasses are empty, we must bid you adieu and have a fantastic week, everyone. And we'll see you next Wednesday, 8:00 live for sports and drafts. Good night, Dave. And see y'all next week.